Maxine's New Job by Dr. Linda Mubarak. It was the last week of summer vacation and Maxine Hill was up very early on this Saturday morning. This Saturday was a special day because she was going skating with her friend, Amanda. Amanda Grayson and Maxine had been friends since kindergarten and they loved spending time together. Although Maxine's family had moved to another neighborhood across town, they remained the best of friends. Maxine and Amanda were also excited because this was their year to begin 4th grade. Thinking about the new school uniform, new schedules, and new friends and teachers was so exciting. Maxine could hardly sleep Friday night. She was thinking about all the fun she was going to have at the skating event. Maxine finally fell asleep, only to be awakened by the Sullivans' dogs, Ebony, Joyce, and Shorty. Her neighbors, the Sullivans, were an older couple who lived 2 houses away, and their 2 dogs were always up early with Mr. Sullivan for their morning walk. The dogs were barking at a jogger running down the street. She heard him say, "You guys are too loud this morning. We have neighbors sleeping. Tone it down." Maxine thought for a minute, but she was too excited to go back to sleep. It was time to get dressed, eat breakfast, and wait for Amanda's mom to pull up in the driveway. She heard her dad in the kitchen and smelled the aroma of the coffee as it filled the house. Maxine delighted in the fact that her dad always cooked breakfast and her mom always cooked the evening meal for dinner. Maxine finished dressing in her favorite purple roller rink outfit, set her skates next to the front door, and looked out the living room window. To her surprise, Mrs. Sullivan was standing in her front yard with a sheet of paper in her hand. Mrs. Sullivan had a puzzled look on her face. Thought Maxine. I wonder what Mrs. Sullivan is thinking about. As Maxine stood at the living room window, looking at Mrs. Sullivan, Amanda's mother pulled up in the driveway. Maxine walked into the kitchen, gave her dad a big hug, and said, "Dad, Amanda and her mother just parked in the driveway. I'm going upstairs to say goodbye to Mom, and then I'm off." "Okay," replied Mr. Hill, smiling. "Have fun, and don't eat too many hot dogs, young lady." As Maxine walked outside, she waved at Mrs. Sullivan. Mrs. Sullivan returned the wave, had a puzzled look on her face, and then she sat down into the big white rocking chair on her front porch. As Maxine jumped into the back seat of the Graysons' SUV, she could still see Mrs. Sullivan looking at the papers in her hand. She hugged Amanda and her mother, and the girls began talking and giggling as the Graysons' SUV backed out of the driveway. Mrs. Grayson walked into the Just Roll skating rink with Maxine and Amanda. She talked with the rink manager and sat with the girls as they laced up their skates. Soon, other kids from their school began arriving with their parents. Miss Dennis, the school chaperone, walked through the door with a smile and began waving at everyone. "Okay, girls, I'm going over to speak with Miss Dennis before leaving. Enjoy yourselves, and I will be back at noon," said Mrs. Grayson. My name is Dr. Linda Mubarak, and the name of my book is Maxine's New Job. I wrote this book because I wanted to introduce children to the concept of human compassion and community service. I thought about a condition that I could accommodate in the book, but it had to be a condition that everyone could relate to, and that I finally decided was going to be dyslexia. More people than we know, family, friends, co-workers, cannot read. Sometimes you know about it and sometimes you don't. I also wanted it to be connected to a community service site, so I chose the Community Food Bank for that. I am a lifelong partner with them here. You can find my book at Barnes & Noble online, or you can find it at Amazon online, ebook, paperback, and hardback. I am hopeful that Maxine's New Job and the way she handles dyslexia will be an inspiration for those people that you know that cannot read. Even if you have dyslexia, you can still learn to read.